Hi, Kush. Good morning and warm welcome to the 10x Growth Strategies podcast. Before we get started, if you can introduce yourself a bit.
Hey Madhavi, good discussion for a weekend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's. Currently, I'm with Nokia. I'm a software and a telecom professional all my life. Been with Nokia for last almost 7.5 years now. Enjoying the journey. So, yeah, that's who I am.
Okay, awesome. I think you have worked about 10 years in the US and rest of it is probably in India. That sort of,
Yes,
yeah. Okay, great.
very early.
Yeah. Thank you, Kush. So you suggested the book Psychology of Money. So why do you think, it makes a worthwhile read for anybody, right? Let's get started with that.
What I think is that just reflecting on my own journey, I think if I had read this book very early in my professional career, when I started my professional career, probably my relationship with money and my investment journey would have been very different. So I'm almost on a mission, honestly, for the next generation whom I can influence to get them started on their relationship with money and how they manage their money very early in their lives, so that they can have a more positive relationship with money and the way they see money and the way they invest, the way they use it, the way they save. That is my motivation of reading the book and then propagating to whoever I can influence in the next generation, people who are getting into the workforce recently, people getting out of college. That is what my motivation is.
Okay, okay, interesting. Thanks, Kush. I think for me, when I read that book, so many messages sort of resonated so deeply. I was wondering how is the author able to even come up with so many narratives that are, deeply resonating with our own maybe philosophies of upbringing. Of course, I would have also liked to have read it much earlier or the book to have come out much earlier, but then it was a wonderful read. So I think the fundamental premise that Morgan Housel places is doing well with money isn't necessarily about what we know, but how we behave, and behavior is very hard to teach, is what he says. So we'll get started. I think the first message is again on compounding, right? So what have you seen? What maybe you elaborate a bit about it, and then you can also tell us what you've seen of long-term compounding on any aspect, be it in savings or career or relationships, wherever. Yeah, talk about it, Kush.
Yeah, so the book itself touches on that, and a very important concept to understand very early in the career, because compounding is all about time period, right? Over a long period of time, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, it compounds to become something significant. That's true for money. That's true for yourself. That's true for any aspect of life, right? So my and let's stick with the topic of money. My own experience was that yes, when we started our career, I went to the US very early in my life, so I had some kind of spare money to play with. I played in the stock market. Sometimes I made money, sometimes I lost money, but I couldn't hold my nerve on it and do that consistently, right? So I withdrew at times that, okay, this is not for me. And then I would go into the direction of, okay, I'll put my money only in Provident Fund and do extra allocation to the Provident Fund. That I did for many years. And in the process, probably lost a lot of opportunity, right? So then after some time, when I realized that probably I need help, so I hired a financial consultant to help me assess my own personal finance, and that was an eye opener for me. The guy said that you are so unprepared for your financial goals that you are kind of screwed if you don't mend your ways, right? So that was a kind of honest conversation he did with me. So I engaged him. I started my journey with him, and then he put some method into the madness, and then I started the science behind it and how you control your emotions, stay in the market, how do you reallocate between equity and debt depending on the situation, And that was really an eye opener for me. So I did that with him for 2, 3 years, and then I started doing it on my own. Actually, I felt confident again that I can do it on my own, and then since then I've been doing on my own. The key was to stay invested, right? Not let the emotions of the market and the fear of loss or the excitement of gain get the better of you and drive your behavior or drive your actions based on those emotions. And that is what I've been trying to do. So, very simple way. Actually, most of the younger generation, probably who are even slightly well versed with the concept of compounding, can go to any of the financial websites and use a tool to see the power of compounding. Right. One classic example that I give to the next generation: you start your job. Let's assume you're an engineering graduate. You start your career with, say, a 10 lakh per annum pay package, a modest one. But yeah, that gives you an opportunity to start saving. With that kind of package, you can at least start saving 25,000 rupees per month, right? And
Absolutely.
you've just started your career. You've just started your career. You start saving 25,000 rupees per month and you start doing an SIP. Don't do anything fancy. Just invest in the Nifty 50 index fund, right? In Nifty 50 index fund historically has given you 14 to 15%
Yeah.
annualized return. So that is the level at which it is compounding. Keep doing that. Forget the increments that you will get and the fact that you will earn much more in future and hence invest much more. Just stick to that 25,000 that you will do for the rest of your career.
Yeah.
So let's assume you have a 40-year works lifespan, right? Just, and a 14% annualized return. Can you even imagine what kind of corpus you will
Yeah.
build with that? That will be, if at 14%, 25,000 rupees per month will be close to 50 crores when you are at towards the end of your career. Just imagine if you just don't let emotions drive your action. Just do this simple thing. How simple is this, right? And
Yeah.
I don't think most people understand that, and that is what the power. That is what this book explains, and hence everybody who is young and starting should read this book and start their journey.
Yeah. I think when we are young, we also tend to be more impatient and we want fast results. We want to see fancy sums of money at a very young age and so on. Yeah, I
Yeah, we
agree.
want quick returns. Okay, I got excited that I made some 50% on this stock in one year.
Exactly.
I'll buy a expensive iPhone and enjoy that. That actually, that's another very interesting thing. There was somewhere I read that if iPhone was launched in 2008, right?
Right.
If you bought every model of iPhone up
Right.
till now, iPhone 16 or whatever,
Uh,
and suppose you had not done that, you had invested that money in Apple stock, okay? That money itself would have been close to like 50 to 75 million dollars.
oh my God.
Is that is the kind of compounding that particular company is there.
Okay, okay. No, I mean we are under a lot of peer pressure. We pay attention. We are concerned about what others are thinking about us. I think in the younger age, all of this is more. We exhibit all these tendencies more commonly. There also, this book is of great help, I would say. Yeah. So the next question is also again quite interesting. He cites Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger as saying, Berkshire has held about 400 to 500 stocks thus far, and of all these, maximum 10 stocks would have returned the most in returns in their portfolio itself. So if you take away the 10, they say that Berkshire's returns would have been just about average. So very few bets would yield disproportionate results, right? So what have you seen, or what are your reflections on this one?
No, same with me, absolutely. Actually, that's true for Warren Buffett, that is mentioned in the book. But if you look at in India context, if you look at our equivalent of Warren Buffett, which is Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, what made Rakesh Jhunjhunwala what he is today, or what he was, is one stock, which is Titan. He may have done lots of investments, but the exponential gain that he got in Titan, none of his other investments gave him. So that's not only true for investment, that's honestly true for life also. And when we go through a career of say 40 years, most of your career is kind of mundane and boring probably, and one or two shots that you get suddenly jumps. You get a jump in your career, you get a jump in your income, and that helps you get to the next level, right? So the same is true for here. But if you are passionate about a particular business, a particular company, you're totally done your research, you have invested your emotions as well as your money in that company, that will help you stay invested in that company and get the exponential gains. And of course, the rules of okay, you can't put all your eggs in one basket, all those rules will apply. But absolutely true that other than the compounding of 10 to 15% that you get in a normal investment, some of these investments will get you the extra or the multi-bagger returns, as the way we say it. If you don't let emotions drive you, and if you're committed towards that business, you're following that business and then doing it in a very methodical way.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Kush. So your top one or two takeaways from the book.
I think other than the fact that the book talks about how to make money and how to invest properly, the book is also very, very rightfully talks about how it is extremely important to realize that happiness in life will not come from money. Happiness in life will come from your relationships, your family, your children, and that is the investment that you consciously need to make in your life on those relationships, and that is where you will get your happiness from. Of course, money will solve your basic needs, and beyond a point, it will be just a number. But if you think that buying a expensive car, buying an expensive iPhone will give you the thrill every time, that thrill will last for a couple of days and then it will go away. And hence, it is extremely important to invest in the right things in life, which is your relationships, your family, your children, etc., etc. So that is a very thoughtful message in the book, and I would urge everybody to look at that aspect as well. Also, it talks about the importance of not indulging in spending just to please others, just to show off, right? Do things that make you happy, makes your family happy, not because you are in a competition with somebody for the largest car or the latest mobile phone or whatever. So that is also very simple concept, and explained in a very beautiful way in the book. And I think those two will be, if I say one or two, of course, compounding is there and all those things, but these two messages are the most important messages, because other rest of it is simple in life, very simple. Stay invested, believe in yourself, do not exit the market. Very simple things to do, right?
Yeah.
But these are more nuances of life that the book teaches you, and that is extremely good takeaway for me.
And I like the idea that he seems to be writing letters to his son. He mentions that he had written a letter just before his son was born or something, and he recalls this one snippet where he says, you may think that you need an expensive watch, a plush house, and a luxurious car, and all that. You may think that's what will earn others love and affection, but he says you really, from the kind of people you would want respect and admiration from, you're not going to get it with these materialistic things. And then kindness, humility, and something else, I'm not getting it. So those are things that will earn you respect and admiration from the people you want it from, right? It's a very wonderful message. And he also says you will have to build your own success. You don't assume you can latch on to your parents or anybody else's success, but you will have to build your own success. Amazing message. I loved it. Now, next one, Kush, portfolio allocation, rebalancing, and also talk about worst stock market crashes, that worst of the crashes that you have endured. How was your psyche at that point in time? How did you deal with it, and what lessons in retrospect?
So the worst we have had is most recent during COVID, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And every day market would open and there will be a lower circuit in the market on several stocks and even on the index maybe, right? And
Yeah.
And I was kind of all in the stock market at that point in time, and
Right.
it did test my nerve. It did test my nerve. What I did during that time was again very active. Okay, where which are the safer ones? Let me move my money there.
Yeah.
Not really take the money out,
Huh.
but yeah, rebalance the portfolio from I have two portfolios, right? One my direct stock portfolio and mutual fund portfolio.
Hmm.
Mutual fund portfolio, I kind of left it aside that, yeah, it will take care of itself. On the stock portfolio, I did take very quick calls in terms of where do I move money, which are the most risky stocks, which will see the most downfall. But it was also an opportunity to put more money into
Yeah.
the stock market because of these kind of crashes. Our normal human behavior is they take money out in these kind of
Hmm.
crashes and they pump more money when the market is at all-time high. That is a normal human behavior. Actually, it should be exactly the opposite. So whatever extra money I had, I did pump in more money during that time. And as you can see, after the COVID panic went away, the market went into an all-time high again.
Yeah.
But there was a missed opportunity also back in 2008, actually. 2008, when market crashed, I was in the US at that point in time and almost packing my bags to get back to India in early 2009. And there was a huge opportunity there. I told some of my friends also, for example, Bank of America. Bank of America was a penny stock at that point in time. It was, if I remember correctly, it was close to maybe $2 or $3 or something like that.
Wow.
I was talking to my friend. I said that, boss, this is a lifetime opportunity. Put everything you have in Bank of America. And he used to work for Merrill Lynch and then went to Bank of America because Merrill Lynch was acquired by Bank of America. So he said that, boss, what you're saying is absolutely right. And he did that.
Wow.
I didn't do that because I had a impending move to India. I got a bit scared about, okay, I will have to take money out of my life insurance, and I have two young kids who are just born 1 year old, and I am not going to do that. I didn't do that. I came back to India, and that was a missed opportunity actually. So I have seen both sides. So that was a learning from that missed opportunity. So when the COVID thing happened, then I used that learning to ensure that I don't make the same mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting, Kush. I think all of us have to go through at least one crash to understand how we will actually behave. Then the next crash, I
Yeah,
think we will deal with it a bit better. Okay.
yeah, we can keep talking about it, but
Yeah.
actual behaviors can be very different in a real life scenario. When your portfolio goes down 25%, 30% suddenly in a month, then to control your emotions is the real test of life. And that is what this book really teaches you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Kush. And what is one thing that you think has changed in you ever since you read the book? Is there one thing?
I think, of course, like I said, my commitment to educate the younger generation so that they can start early and they can have an early relationship with money, a positive one, is something I'm again overcommitted on. And that is what I would like to. This is one of my favorite gifts that I would probably continue to give to the younger generation. And of course, it reinforces the concepts that I have learned the hard way, and wasted a lot of time by learning it by trial. Basically, we were doing trial and
Yeah,
error, right?
exactly.
We didn't have anybody to coach us on how to
Exactly.
invest, how to deal with money. And probably we spent 20 years doing that, and then before realizing what is the best way to do it. So of course it reinforces those concepts on what we have learned the hard way. It's written in a very structured way in the book, and just reinforces that. So one should read this probably every couple of years to just reinstate those concepts and reinforce those concepts in yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So, as for younger generation, I think the one pattern that I see based on my own two boys is the elder one is into mutual funds. He doesn't care what is in it, what's the thing. He just doesn't care. That is one style, and the younger one is still in college, and he has opened some trading account on angel broking or something. And I was quite surprised because our time when we had to open a demat account, we had to call the agent, the guy will come, it will take 2 3 weeks, paperwork. And these guys are saying, we just opened a broking account or trading account. And I don't know, he keeps buying some
Not
penny
one
stocks.
paper to sign, right?
No paper to sign. I mean, and yeah, like you said, I don't know if the education is happening, but I think for this generation, the barrier to enter into the market is like completely removed, and you just open an app and you do whatever buying you want, maybe 100 rupee, 200 rupee, and then you claim I made 100% on 100 rupee. So maybe,
That is also very dangerous actually,
yeah,
because
exactly.
data shows that the younger generation particularly,
Yeah,
they want quick money, right? FNO, futures and options, is a way to make quick money in their mind.
yeah,
The reality is that 90% of the people lose money in futures and options.
yeah,
And this younger generation is the one are mostly the ones who are losing money in futures and options. And the more advanced and polished algo trading kind of guys,
yeah,
they suck that money from the system. So that's a very dangerous thing. And that also will help. This book will also help those kind of people to understand that there is a difference between gambling, trading versus investing for life and all those things. So that
yeah,
is also very important for younger generation to
yeah.
understand.
It's not really fancy. Investing isn't really fancy. It's just the boring skills. You put money on a good product and just be patient with it. I hope, the younger generation gets it that way. I'm sure many of them are probably doing it well. So great, Kush. Any other closing remarks from you?
Um, I think see, there are some things that stick with me. For example, it's a when we were growing up, we were kind of growing up in a very socialist kind of mindset, right? That probably being rich was kind of some kind of a sin, right? So I think that concept is gradually changing in our country, and I think Shah Rukh Khan says it very well that you can have all that intellectual discussion about the sins of money and being rich and all those things, but do that only after getting rich. First, we need the money. Take care of your material need. Take care of your material needs. That's the basics. And then can have all those intellectual discussions about money and all those things. So I think that resonates with me very well.
Exactly.
That it is important to make money. It's important to take care of your material needs and to secure your future.
Yeah.
And then you can have the freedom to do whatever you want to do in life. And this book can really help people get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I completely agree with that. Only after we reach a certain level of net worth, I think we even start talking about money cannot bring you incremental happiness and other such philosophy, right? If you don't have money, you are focused on how to make your ends meet and build a kitty,
Uh,
etc.
Life is
So,
difficult. Life is
yeah,
difficult if you
yeah,
don't
yeah,
have a decent
yeah.
amount of
Good.
money.
Yeah. Great, Kush. Great talking to you. And I'm sure this will inspire some of our listeners or people who are watching the episode on YouTube to pick up the work. And thanks for taking the time. Pleasure hearing about your own behavior with money. I think that was the most important takeaway than about reminiscing just about the work. Thank you. Thanks for sharing and being open with all of that.
It's great talking to you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.